Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, the spot for learning, reviews, and finding the fun in wine. Today we're in the Okanagan Valley and you're going to get an episode of Behind the Label with acclaimed winemaker Phil McGahan at CheckMate Winery. 20 questions to bring you a more personal connection to his craft and what he does. Let's go check it out. Welcome, Phil. Thanks very much for sitting down with us today. Tell me quickly about you without using wine at all. Where are you from?
I'm from Western Queensland in Australia. I'm the youngest of 10 kids, a big country family. My dad was a wheat farmer in Australia, and basically I love growing up in the country, but my mum was a school teacher, and education was important to her, so we all went off to university to get different degrees. I went and studied law and practiced law for a couple of years, but I found fairly quickly it wasn't for me, and then no knowledge is wasted, so I kind of went into legal publishing and worked my way up to be a publisher, and was living in Sydney. But it was in Sydney that I really got into wine, travelled to all the Australian wine regions, and then really had a hankering to get back to the country. So wine was a way for me to get back, and when I started the enology degree, I gave myself a couple of years. If I liked it, I'd quit what I was doing and I'd start again from a cellar hand and work my way up, and that's what I did.
Awesome. What do you love the most about being a winemaker that you didn't think you would when you started?
I think it's the interaction with customers and just seeing their reactions to the wines. You know, some people have a very dramatic reaction when they first taste CheckMate wine. Some people are kind of transported you can see them go to a different place and then they come back. That's not everyone, but when you see that, it's a real honour to see that, and it's very exciting.
Awesome. If you could be in any band, current or past, which would it be?
An Australian band called Cold Chisel.
Cold Chisel. Are they operatic? What do they do?
No, they're kind of a heavy rock band, a bit like AC/DC. AC/DC went on internationally to become famous. Cold Chisel also some Scottish guys as well, and the lead singer was, and they pretty much stayed within Australia, but very iconic Australian music.
Awesome. So tomorrow you've got to go and witness relocation, pick a job nobody that knows you would find you doing. What's the job you're doing?
Be a private eye, a private detective.
Private
Just
detective.
like sneaking around.
Sneaky Pete. Okay, I love it. What do you have to say to people who don't like Chardonnay?
Just try it. Chardonnay has changed a lot in the last 20 years. A lot of people have an aversion to Chardonnay because they remember the big American oak style. But we don't use any American oak. It's all French oak, and it's all the finest French oak, up to 3 years seasoned. Very tight grained, very subtle spice characters coming through. And the wines, you get beautiful, vibrant fruit, and also just a spice coming from the oak.
So Chardonnay being more sneaky like a PI, I love it.
A little bit.
So tell me about Merlot, or describe Merlot to somebody who's never had Merlot before.
Merlot has beautiful fruit characteristics. It can be anywhere from black cherry to plum through to kind of black currant. So it runs a spectrum from kind of chocolatey characters through to like more Cabernet characters. As it ages, it tends to soften and take on a chocolate kind of character. It's very complex wine, and the way that we make the wines too, they're very structured and very elegant.
And who doesn't like chocolate, right? So basically, if someone likes Cabernet or Bordeaux blend, so to speak, they may be liking Merlot?
I would think they would be. Yeah.
Awesome. And if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Just strength. I want to Hulk it.
You want to be the Hulk? You want to throw barrels around here by yourself?
It's getting harder and harder to lift barrels as the years go by. That's what I'm missing right now.
Okay, what are two things that you want the world to know about the Okanagan Valley and the wine made here?
There's actually quite a long wine history here in the valley. A lot of the vines, when I first came, I thought, the vines would be 10, 20 years old, but all the vines that I work with are 20 to 50 years old.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's good vine age, and just how great the quality of the wine is here. We can make world-class wines here that compete on the world stage.
Okay, and your favorite candy of all time?
Cool Mints, another Australian.
It's an Australian thing, okay.
Yeah.
Breath mint though, yeah?
Yeah, it's a bit more than a breath mint, but it's a cool mint.
If Chardonnay and Merlot, the two grapes that you specialize in here at CheckMate, if they didn't exist, what grape would you want to work with?
For red, I'd pick Pinot Noir. I've always loved working with it in the past, and it's a really fun variety to work with. And probably go back to my roots and say Semillon.
Semillon?
Yeah, because I cut my teeth on Semillon in the Hunter Valley, so I've always had a liking for it.
Nice. Okay, that we can handle. Tell me 2 things you want everyone to know about CheckMate Winery.
Oh, 2 things to know about CheckMate Winery. It's one that the wines are fun. I mean, they're serious wines, but they're meant to be enjoyed. They're wines that you can enjoy when they're younger. They're wines that will age. They have a vibrancy to them. And 2 is that it's in a beautiful location, and it's a beautiful place to come and taste wine.
Fabulous. Top 3 favorite smells for you of all time?
Top 3 favourite smells for me of all time. Probably rosewater, if I can get rosewater in a Chardonnay, which we can here. I think is pretty stunning thing to get. Lavender, if you get lavender in some of the Bordeaux varieties around here in particular, I think that's pretty stunning. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of sweaty armpit in there and a Chardonnay, a little bit of stink or a little bit of cheese.
That's going to require.
That's always pretty good, but those complexing characters are often good to get.
Awesome. So you're in a band. You have your first album coming out. What's the title of the album?
Oh, first band. I don't know. Maybe Cut the Cheese or something.
Cut the cheese. Okay, that's up there with sweat. You should have just went with sweaty armpit. Oh Jesus.
Or Sweaty Saddle, one of the 2. Yeah.
You're going to be shipwrecked tomorrow. All your essentials are supplied. What are 2 things you have to bring with you to the island?
I think I'd have to take a Bordeaux with me. Bordeaux and maybe some cheese. Yeah.
Bordeaux and cheese and armpits, no doubt. Tell us something that you do as a winemaker that surprises you that most people don't know that you'd be doing.
I think it's the amount of time that you're not making wine as a winemaker. It's there's an awful lot of time spent with customers, a lot of time selling the wine, a lot of time in vineyards, which I guess is making the wine. But I'd say day to day, obviously there's peaks and troughs, but around outside harvest, I'd say about 20% of my time is making wine, and the other 80% is actually running the business.
Great. And outside the Okanagan Valley, what wine region most excites you right now?
I've always been excited about Bordeaux. I also think back in Australia, around in Victoria, they're doing some stunning things with Chardonnay.
Victoria Chardonnays, love it.
Yeah.
In your experience, what wine region most resembles the Okanagan Valley when it comes to wine?
I don't know. To me, the Okanagan is very unique. I haven't encountered anything else that's similar. I think the Okanagan it's its own region. It's very unique. Narrow north-south valley. This history of volcanic and also glacial activity just creates some very unique soils and diverse soils within a very small area. As we witnessed down here in the South Okanagan.
Okay, if Chardonnay and Merlot were household pets, what would they be?
The Chardonnay would be French Bulldog, just beautiful, kind of approachable, loving, a lot of fun to be with. The Merlot, probably something a little bit more serious, maybe not something that's going to bark at you, but something that's slightly bigger dog, I'd say.
Oh, I thought you were going to say tiger there for a second.
I've got French Bulldogs at home. I've got a soft spot for French Bulldogs.
What's the most rewarding thing about making wine? I think you honestly kind of touched on that when you said people's reaction when you can transform.
Yeah, I think, I would have, when I first started, I would have said it was the fact, the chemistry and all that kind of stuff and the artisan part of it, but it's seeing people's reaction, getting an end product when you've made all these decisions and it all comes together at the end.
Great.
It's a lot of fun.
And a big philosophical question for Phil, what do you wish for the world right now?
Oh, I just wish the world could be a little bit less complicated for people and kind of return to normal. Obviously, we all want COVID-19 to end, but I just, I don't know. The world's a busy place these days, and sometimes I look back to the 70s and 80s where it wasn't quite as busy, but I think it's just, there's a lot on people's plates these days, and just be nice if we could all get a bit more balance, I guess.
Balance for the world. I love it. Phil, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. You being here.
Oh, you're welcome. No worries at all.